Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to where you are in your home, sheltering in place, sheltering in peace, but also we are soon going to be looking at Nate's home. And so I want to make sure we welcome everybody that's here. It's a blessing to be together on Shabbat. I want to welcome Nate's parents and two of his grandparents who've made the trip to be with their family on this special day, and Maddie, and of course Nate, who is becoming bar mitzvah on this very special day. But also welcome to everybody who is watching from their homes on all the different platforms that you're tuned in on. There he is. There's the young man, Nate, who's becoming bar mitzvah in front of our very eyes. Members of CRC, and of course, Nate, your family and friends who I know are with you. And so this is an age-old tradition that we have to do in a brand new way because we want to keep each other safe and healthy. But at the same time, as new as it is to do bar mitzvah over a computer and over screens, you are doing everything that we ask you to do to become a bar mitzvah. Just everything. You're going to lead us in prayer, Nate, and you're going to chant from the Torah and chant Haftorah and give a commentary that I have heard, and it amazes me, and I know it'll amaze everybody else. And just like every other bar bat mitzvah, we are with you. Your rabbis are right here on Zoom, and everyone from wherever they are tuned in to watch you become bar mitzvah, and we are all in awe of how you've grown and that you've reached this holy moment in space and time. And so we want to start the service with song like we always do at CRC so that everybody can breathe and let their spirit soar. And so this is an opening melody courtesy of one of our wonderful musicians, Andrew.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Nate, leading prayer is a major deal. You know, prayer is the way that we try to make our voices heard to ourselves and to each other and to the universe. Um, it's about crying out. You know, our ancestors in the Torah, the story says that our ancient ancestors who were enslaved, they cried out for freedom. And we're still crying out today. We're crying out for healing and for protection from this virus, and we're crying out for racial justice, right, in the streets, in all of our neighborhoods. We're crying out for love and for gratitude so that our voices are heard. And so you are going to be leading those prayers. And all of us, wherever we are going to be hearing your voice and lifting our voices up with yours. So the very first prayer is one of gratitude. And so even in the midst of all of these challenges and all of these difficulties that we are going through, there is still so much to be thankful for. And that is why on the bottom of page 2, for those of you who have a Siddur, but there are also words on the screen for those that don't. This is the prayer, Modeh Ani, I am grateful. And we are grateful to be here with you. Nate, we want you to feel the arms of the Jewish tradition surrounding you and embracing you. And one of the ways we do that for the prayer leader is by wearing a talit, a prayer shawl with the fringes that represent all of the different mitzvahs that we do as we on our journey of life. And I know your grandparents have made the trip, your maternal grandparents have made the trip from Toledo, Ohio, and they're going to come forward to say some words to you and to present you with your talit, which was bought in Israel by your family friend Yuda ben Shachar, and he had a talis guy, right, in Israel. So now you have a talit.
Very large. Yeah, there we go.
Are you saying something?
Oh, yeah. Nathaniel, it is our great privilege to be here today to celebrate with you and represent all our families and our friends, some just waking up and many still in their pajamas. You follow hundreds of generations, most recently the footsteps of your sister and your cousins, Aiden and Noah.
You, however, will have the most unusual stories to tell about your big day. We are so proud of your year's hard work, and we are confident that today will be a happy memory for all of us.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And you guys can stay up there while Nate says the blessing for the mitzvah of wearing the talis, which is on page 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen. Ma tovu. How good. Why don't you guys give Nate a hug and there you go. Aw. Whatever feels as Nate starts now to really lead the service after those moments of heart opening and gratitude, I want to remind everybody that Nate will be announcing the page numbers. I know that many of you have Nate's wonderful Siddur, so that's why he's announcing page numbers. And also, he's going to be telling us some of the choreography of prayer to stand and sit. We understand that some of you might be comfortable staying seated, but if you want to follow Nate's directions, you are certainly more than welcome to do that too. And now we are on page 4.
Please chant together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzalmo. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has created me in your image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'chorin. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who makes clothes for the needy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layav koach. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who gives strength to the weak. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher hechin mitzadeh gaver. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who guides the steps of human beings.
And the next page, 5.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו, לעילמין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. Please
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
How glorious a greeting the sun gives the mountains. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha brachamim. ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית. מה רבו מעשיך אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית, מלך הארץ קניינך. התברך אדוני אלוהינו על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפארך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. Together, you create light in darkness, the possibility of peace within a warring world. All forms and creatures who acknowledge their only common bond in you. You open daily the gates of the east, cleave the windows of the sky, bring forth the sun from its place, the moon from its abode. The sky, the sun, the moon are far from us, yet their Creator created us, and so their world is ours. Their light is ours, for we must often gather up their light from the dark places where it has fallen. Bring forth their light, that ours may shine anew. You who have created light, our praise. The source of love is deep in us, and we can help others realize a lot of happiness. One word, one action, one thought can reduce another person's suffering and bring that person joy. As Aristotle used to say, this is what happened to most people who heard Plato's lecture on the good. Each came expecting to learn something about the things thought to be human goods, such as wealth, health, strength, and in general a kind of amazing success. But when they heard the words about mathematics and numbers and geometry and astronomy, and the claim that good is one, I suppose it seemed to them totally unexpected. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Together, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Remember to do all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your God. I know that we are a people who have crossed many seas. In every service we remember that the price of freedom is often great as we sing the same words that our ancestors sang after crossing from slavery to freedom at the shores of another sea.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך בנדע בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך בנדע בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה Fele
Please rise. To forget one's ancestors is to be a brook without a source, a tree without a root.
And so, with those words in mind, we prepare ourselves, as the song says, to be sanctuaries, each and every one of us.
Prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Shabbat Shalom, CRC. I miss you and I love you to life.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Together. Holy One of Blessing, you are our God and God of our fathers and mothers. God of Abraham and Sarah, God of Isaac and Rebekah, God of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel, the great God, the mighty God, the awesome God, the supreme God, who responds with acts of loving kindness, who possesses everything, and who, remembering love the righteous deeds of our parents, brings redemption to the children of their children. Sovereign, helper, savior, protector, holy one of blessing, shield of Abraham and Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדור מלך, מלך ממית ומחייב ומצמיח ישועה. לך חיות חיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. My religion is based on Moses. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And for me, God is the first cause. David and the prophets knew that there could be no love without justice or justice without love. I don't need any other religious trappings.
Wow.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. נצקים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated.
So Nate, Shabbat gives us a chance to reflect and pause. And so I'm reflecting on all the time I've known you, because you were my Hebrew school student, and then, of course, in 7th grade, which just ended, we spent a lot of time together doing mitzvahs, preparing for your bar mitzvah. I'm reflecting on the wonderful passages that you selected for your bar mitzvah readings and kavanot. An incredible array of understanding the universe, from Albert Einstein and Thich Nhat Hanh and Plato and Aristotle. You've reminded us of the breadth of wisdom that's in the world. I'm reflecting on also, for those of you that have a Siddur, the stories that you put in of Rabbi Jim, because you discovered that you were a character, a wonderful character in some of Rabbi Jim's stories. You were his charge and his student. And I'm reflecting on the cover that everyone got to see before the service started that I'm not going to reveal of your Siddur. That's a quail. And everyone is going to get it in not too long from now when you give us your wonderful commentary. So Shabbat allows us, there it is, thank you. So just keep that in your mind's eye, store it for the near future. So let Shabbat allow us all to reflect on what's really important, on what's really holy, so that we can all continue with you, Nate, to make a difference in the world. Veshamru, page 18.
ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם, לדורתם ברית עולם.
He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has.
Page 20.
Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
I love these quotes you've picked, Nate. It's so meaningful to be here with you today at this incredible moment. So we take a moment, as we do in every service, to have a prayer for peace, right? And peace is written all over your Siddur. Peace is written all over your family and your personality. And we're just so proud of you as we say this blessing that we need more peace in the world. Sim shalom, make peace. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. So we take a moment for some quiet prayer, for some quiet reflection, with the words of Rabbi James Stone Goodman.
And it's
Please rise.
Thank you. And it's time for Rabbi Susan.
Hi, Nate. This is the time that we begin the Torah service. So I'd like to invite your grandparents who are there, Nancy and Jim, to join you at the Bima, and your parents, and of course your big sister, Maddie. And there you go. Okay, I can see you now. And I'm going to ask your grandfather to take that Torah that's on the mantle and to hold on to it for just a moment. I want to tell you a little bit of a story about this particular Torah. You know, the Torah that we used for Maddie was, of course, the Holocaust Torah, the Torah that is a survivor of the Shoah. But it's kind of fragile, so we decided that this would be the right Torah to use for the bar and bat mitzvahs that we were having virtually. But I want to tell you a little story about this Torah. This was our very first Torah, Nate. And before we had any of those big Torahs that are in the Ark, even the Holocaust Torah, the Survivor Torah, that reminds us that we too, at this point, have to embrace everything, even the difficult parts of life, and find the truth in them and wrap them in beauty. Before we had any of those Torahs, we had this Torah. And one day we opened the Ark and there were two of them. And we still, to this day, 36 years later, have no idea where that second little Torah came from. It just was kind of magic. And it made me think about the long line of people that you stand with today. You stand with your mother's people, of course, who are here. And I know when I asked you who else is in your line, you wanted to remember your mother's mother's mother, your great grandma Irene, who you came to know and died when she was 99 years old, around the time of your sister's bat mitzvah. And I love the fact that you said, when I've received Torah in my life, I've received it from the generations of my mother's people and my father's people. And so I want to also acknowledge, of course, your grandparents who are in Florida, Roger and Sandy Brown, who I know are standing with you today as well as they're watching from afar. And we'd also like to shout out to them Mazal Tov, because it is their 61st anniversary today. And I think there's something about Mazel. There's something about the mazel that we had when we got the magic of that second Torah, the mazel of having a great grandmother to know who was 99, the mazel of 61 years of marriage, the mazel of having 4 grandparents who adore you, who are passing on their Torah to you, along with your parents and your big sister, who, I also think is kind of magic. When I was at a kind of dark time in my life and I was ready to stop and give up, your sister was one of 2 people who drew me back into the story of CRC. You never know where your mazel, your magic, is going to come. So I want to tell you to keep your eyes open for the mazel, for the magic. But as you also know, it takes more than mazel. It takes more than magic. It also takes sechel, right? It takes wisdom. And, listening to you and Jim on the front porch and in the dining room, I know that you have a lot of sechel. You have an unusual brand of innate sechel, wisdom. Your own. It is your own. And, it's going to take special people that come to really appreciate it. But I want you to remember that we do. We love the fact that you have mazel, but we also love the fact that you are ready to share your sechel, your wisdom with us, because that is what this passing of the Torah really means. Passing it from generation to generation to you means that we are counting on you, Nate, to add your unique voice to the story of Torah. It may be your voice that draws back in the mazel and the sechel that keeps us going for another generation. It may be Nate wisdom that helps us navigate and negotiate all of the kinds of things we need to get through these challenging times. So we will be looking to you, Nate. I know you have a wonderful devar that you're about to speak to us, to teach to us after you've read from your Torah and Haftorah portions. But I hope that that will continue. I hope, Nate, as you receive this Torah, as your grandfather, Jim, passes it to your grandmother, Nancy, because at CRC, we celebrate when women hold the Torah too. We feel the presence of your grandparents from Florida who are celebrating their anniversary, Roger and Sandy. Pass it to your father, who feels the weight of it right there, I know. Giving it to your wonderful mother, who passes it to your sister, who shared with us her sechel not too long ago, who has her own brand of magic and mazel, and now gives it to you to stand before this congregation that is really from far and wide, and also right there with you. And as a sign that you receive this, as a sign that you are ready to take your place in this long line of tradition, feeling your great grandmother Irene with us, knowing that your grandparents Roger and Sandy are standing here, and feeling really all of those you may not even know. They flow through you as you lead us in the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Beautiful.
Please be seated.
Is your sister going to help you with the dressing?
Yeah.
Help you undress the Torah.
Well, that was easy.
Place it down. All right.
So Nate, this is something you've worked so hard for so long, leading us in prayer and this moment of Torah, surrounded by your family. It was so wonderful to get to know you when you were in 6th grade, and it was one of my first years at CRC. You were always so kind and thoughtful, and I know you bring that today as you become a bar mitzvah. Surrounded by your family and with love from all of us virtually. We're all sending your way. So for our first Aliyah, we invite up your sister Maddie, who had her bar mitzvah just a few years ago. And so she will say the blessings before and after your first reading of Torah. I don't have page numbers, but I know it's in the Siddur. So if you're following along, I know this blessing is in there. And so we invite Maddie up to Amod Hadassah Bat Erich Aviva LeAliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל אהרון ואמרת אליו, להעלותך את הנרות אל מול פני המנורה, יאירו 7 הנרות. ויעש כן אהרון אל מול פני המנורה, העלה נרותיך כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Nate, that was perfect. Maddie, if you want to say the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Maddie. That was beautiful. If you want to have a seat, we will move into our second Aliyah. I should have mentioned that you're reading from Baha'alotecha, which is a beautiful Torah portion. And in just a few minutes, we will hear some words about this Torah portion through your own voice, Nate. So for our second Aliyah, we invite up your grandparents, once again, Jim and Nancy, to say the blessing. Ya'amdu, Yosef ve'Aryeh li ve'Sarah ve'Chana bat Haika ve'Faivesh le'Aliyah. Whenever you're ready.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
וזה מעשה המנורה מקשה זהב עד ירך עד פרחה מקשה היא כמראה אשר הראה אדוני את משה כן עשה את המנורה וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור קרח את הלווים מתוך בני ישראל וטיהרת אותם.
That was beautiful. Blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And so we're going to ask your grandparents to have a seat and your parents to stay up there as we move into our third and final Aliyah, where you get called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. So you become a bar mitzvah, and you do this by being called to the Torah for the first time by your Hebrew name. So this is a really big, special moment. So we're going to call you to the Torah, and then you'll say the blessing, and then you can say your third aliyah. Ya'amod, Nathaniel ben Eric Aviva la aliyah bar mitzvah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. Venatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. V'cho ta'aseh lahem v'taharam. Hazeh alehem mechatat. והעבירו תער על כל בשרם, וכיבסו בגדיהם והיטהרו, ולקחו פר בן בקר, ומנחתו סולת בלולב השמן, ופר שני בן בקר תיקח לחטאת, והקרבת את הלוויים לפני אוהל מועד, והקהת את כל עדת בני ישראל.
Yes,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You can take a deep breath now. Yasher koach, Nate. That was beautiful. You read so beautifully. Yasher koach, really. So while you were dressing the Torah, we're gonna dress it and set it back down on the table for just a moment as we say a Misha Berach, which is a prayer of healing. We do this while the Torah is out to send as much healing and blessing as possible to those who need it. This is a blessing of spiritual healing, mental healing, physical healing, emotional healing. So I know Andrew's going to lead us in the Misha Berach, so we'll pause for just a moment and think of those in our lives that need some extra blessings right now.
Berach Avotenu Makor Habracha Le'emotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misher Berach Imotenu Makor Habracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We will move the Torah aside for just a moment, and we will move into the Haftorah, which is a section taken outside of the Torah that complements some of the themes of the Torah that you read so beautifully this morning. So I know you have it in front of you, and if you want to start with the blessing and then move into your Haftorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nbi'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nbi'ei ha'emet. וצדק. רוני ושמחי בת ציון, כי הנני בא ושכנתי בתוכך נאום אדוני. ונלוו גויים רבים אל אדוני ביום ההוא, והיו לי לעם, ושכנתי בתוכך וידעת, כי אדוני צבאות שלחני אלייך. ונחל אדוני את יהודה חלקו על אדמת הקודש, ובחר עוד בירושלים. הס כל בשר מפני אדוני, כי נאור ממעון קודשו. ויראני את יהושע הכהן הגדול, עומד לפני מלאך אדוני, והשטן עומד על ימינו לשטנו.
That was beautiful. Blessing after?
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות. האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים, ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
That was wonderful. Nate, you've done such a beautiful job. And I know people were listening to Leslie's beautiful Misha Berach, but I saw you give your parents a hug. And I think, I know I speak for everyone when I say we're so proud of you. And we're so happy to be here to celebrate you becoming a bar mitzvah today. So finally, we get to hear your voice, your words of Torah added to the long line of people who have spoken about our Torah and our traditions.
The Torah portion you all just heard me chant is Baha'alotecha from Numbers. This book of the Torah describes the adventures of the Israelites in the wilderness after escaping slavery in Egypt. The first thing that really happens in my portion is that God tells Moses how the menorah should look. It's a gold menorah, I can't say much else. God then tells Moses how to designate the Levites for God's service. There's water sprinkling, there's a clothing bit, it's a little bit weird. There's a sacrifice. God explains the Passover sacrifice, which is different from the Make the Levites Holy sacrifice, important note, and the movement of the tabernacle is explained. There's a surprisingly long section about the companies of fighters of the people of Israel and the order in which they mobilize. It is a pretty long segment of, and his son led that group, followed by his son leading that group. But the event that I'd like to discuss, and the event that I consider most interesting, is God's punishment of the Israelites. The Israelites start to run out of food and complain that they were better off as slaves in Egypt, with meager food and few rights. And in response, God decides, the Israelites are being whiny little punks who need to be taught a lesson. So God declares through Moses that God would give the Israelites plenty of meat, so much that all they would do for a month would be eating meat, so much that meat would come out of their noses, so much that they would be repulsed by the very concept of meat itself at the end of the month. God didn't actually say that last thing, but it's close enough. So God swept quail from all over, encircling the encampment with quail, piled some 10 cubits, or 15 feet or 5 yards, high, and about a day's journey on all sides. Even the people who took the very least of the Israelites still came home with 10 chomers of quail. For reference, one chomer has been considered to be approximately 230 liters of volume, or 6 acres of land. This remarkable amount of quail, and the world's first vegetarians. All because some people got annoyed about a lack of food? First off, wow, God just obliterated a couple of ecosystems. But also, wow, God just way overdid the revenge thing. People got hungry, they started complaining, and because of that, God destroyed multiple ecosystems and invented vegetarians. That sounds like at least a little bit of overkill. Also, assuming that the quail forms a triangle-esque in a circle, going 1 mile away from the camp, and that the camp is a circle 1 mile in diameter, then the total amount of quail using 3.14159 as an estimate for pi is roughly 875,825,026.56 cubic feet, or roughly 24,800,602,918 liters. That's right, 24 billion liters. Billion like 1,000 thousands of thousands. I checked the present day quail population globally, and my answer from Google was 15 to 35 million. I also Googled how many quail fit in 1 liter, and shockingly, I did not get the answer I was looking for. But if quails were blocks, filling in their average proportions, length maximum at around 8 inches, wingspan of up to 15 inches, and height of up to 8 inches, using those high numbers, we get a total of roughly 9 quail per 5 cubic feet. This gives us approximately 1,576,485,047 quail. So God literally swept in more quail than there are living on the planet today. Were quail the dominant species before God got angry at the Israelites? Also, 1 mile being a day's journey? That's insultingly low. I'm probably wrong, because the average adult walking speed is 3.1 miles per hour, and in a short 5-hour day of walking, that's 15.5 miles. That is so much more quail than I just said. So let's think. God killed over 1 billion quail and created vegetarians because some humans were whining? That's pathetic. I think this story is a story that shows how God is like us, imperfect. I mean, think about it. A perfect being creates other beings in its own image. These new beings would be perfect like their creator. But like God, we're flawed. We can do terrible things in fits of rage. We can be petty and anal retentive, but we should at least try not to be, because on the same token, we can be creative, intelligent, and resilient. For an analogy, I don't know how many people have heard about this, but a perfect circle or sphere cannot and does not exist. But in a computer's vector file, it can. Just like anything perfect in that sense, it can exist in theory, but never in reality. The screen can't even display a flawless sphere because of the pixels. Fun fact, you can't make a circle out of squares. But what we can do is try. We can try to overcome our biases. We can try to quell our anger, to sate our greed. We can just try to be better. And that's perfection. Always trying to be better. Because everything is flawed and it will never be perfect. Or, not perfect, flawless. Perfection isn't about hiding flaws, it's about accepting flaws and trying to improve on them. So when people say that God is flawless, I disagree. And I don't know that God is perfect either. For every love thy neighbor, there's a quailstrom. For every thou shalt not kill, there's a flood. Or two. I'm not really sure. I really don't know much about God, but most of the time I think God really wants us humans to be perfect. So when we fail to share that goal or make the effort, God punishes us. I'm sure we all remember Noah with the flood. But I think that's one of God's flaws. God disregards God's self in favor of perfecting others. God's greatest flaw is to want more to help us than to help God's self. And the way we can best help that and be perfect ourselves is to keep on trying to be a little better each day than we were yesterday and planning to be even better tomorrow. Also, sorry I spent so much time on numbers. I like hard numbers, in fact, and I thought it'd be fun to think about. Besides, it's named numbers.
Nate, that was wonderful and so authentically you. And thank you for adding your voice in the long line of voices on Torah and making it so special and so unique to who you are as a person. I would now like to ask Jem to come on, Rabbi Jem, who was your tutor, who will say some words to you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yep.
I got a big face. You can't make a circle out of squares. That was a good line, Nate.
Thank you.
The day Nathaniel changed his mind. Nathaniel came across the bridge in the front of my house. It's a walking bridge, and now that the neighborhood seems to be walking more, I seem to be living on the confluence of walkways. Nathaniel came across that walking bridge while I was sitting on my front porch at the confluence of all the walking that is now happening in the neighborhood. Here comes Nathaniel the opposite way he was accustomed to going. In past meetings, he would take that bridge after leaving my house, traveling the other way, going north toward his house. Before the pandemic, Nathaniel's routine was to walk from school to my house. In those days, there was little or no walking. Post-pandemic, walking had returned to the neighborhood, and on the morning I am describing, Nathaniel was coming across the bridge, heading southeast, actually, toward my house, not the direction he or I was accustomed to. So I waved and watched him as Nathaniel came over the bridge, then turned toward the east and went down the hill toward Hanley Road. I was thinking, maybe he's going to Starbucks, where I know he liked to stop on occasion on his way home from school, as I saw him there once on a day early on in our association. Several days actually after Nathaniel had missed a lesson at my house. I believe he had forgotten to notify me, and I do believe that he did not show up for his lesson. But I didn't want to shame him. It was no big deal to me, but as I remember it, several days after Nathaniel had missed that lesson, I was sitting at Starbucks. It was after school, and I noticed Nathaniel on the other side of the coffee shop, but I elected not to say anything to him. He was with his school pals, it looked like, and if I said something, that might be shaming. But I didn't say anything. It would be false. If I didn't say anything, it would be false because we both knew he had missed the lesson. And well, it might not be comfortable, so I decided not to say anything. I put my nose back into a book I was reading or onto my machine I was typing on. And Nathaniel surprised me by coming over to me. Hey, he said. Hey, I said. He then apologized for not making the lesson. That's a mensch, I thought. When I was his age, and I might have been lurking around a coffee shop, we had a place called Spiffy's in my neighborhood where we went for hamburgers and such. A hamburger cost a quarter, so did a plate of excellent French fries. So you get an idea what era I'm speaking about. Still, I imagined at his age, if I was sitting at Spiffy's with my pals and one of my teachers came in, one of my teachers I had missed a lesson with, I don't think I would have gone over to that teacher. If he hadn't encountered me first, I would have pretended I didn't see him. Now I was the teacher, and I was pretending not to see him, Nathaniel, you, my student. So in some sense, Nathaniel is more of a mensch than I am. And maybe that's why I'm taking such a long time writing this piece. And I see it has led to a place that I did not intend. Nathaniel is more of a mensch than I am. And I guess I should thank him for that invaluable lesson and for the privilege being on the receiving end of his teaching, thanking him for being his student, thanking Nathaniel for being my teacher. I hope I am not embarrassing him. Now that I have written this, I see has led me to a place I did not expect. That's how it is when you are writing or telling a story. It takes you to places you did not intend or plan. This a tribute to the notion that student becomes teacher. Teacher becomes student again, and Crosby, Stills, Nash notwithstanding, the relationship of teacher and student is fluid. Sometimes teacher, sometimes student, much like parents and children. Sometimes parent, sometimes child. Child becomes parent. I have learned much from my teachers, more from my students. This from the Talmud. So thanks, Nate, for teaching me. As you walked across the confluence that day, the bridge going the other way, you turned wrong. You went east down the hill. I'm assuming you realized that you could get where you were going quicker if you went up the hill and through the alley behind my house or around the adjacent street that leads to Hanley Road to get where you were going. You, on the day that Nathaniel changed his mind, you came back up the hill and past my house again. And did I assume correctly that you were headed toward the former well-occupied Starbucks open now only for carryout? And did you reconsider and went down the hill that you could get where you were going a shorter way? And perhaps if our association continues in some form, you will fill in for me the rest of the story. Your sometimes teacher, sometimes student, James Goodman.
Thank you, Rabbi Jim.
You're welcome.
So, Nate, we begin to conclude our service. We begin to move into the end of this first moment that you have led our community in prayer, led our community in an incredible teaching, like incredible. I'm going to go back and listen to that teaching again. I might have to bring a calculator with me when I do. But really, really, humor and so much you and so much truth there. We are so proud of you. So we have more people who are proud of you, including our congregational president, Rachel Delstead.
Me, or how you're better known in my household, that really cool older guy, Nate. Mazel tov on your bar mitzvah. You have always been a leader and a role model and a mentor, including to my two kids. You have single-handedly introduced them to their two favorite things in life, Minecraft and chewing gum. I know now, as you walk as an adult in the eyes of our community, that you will continue to lead and inspire. On behalf of the CRC board and the entire CRC congregation, we want you to know that 2 trees have been planted in honor of your bar mitzvah, one in a Jewish Israeli community and the other in an Arab community in the West Bank. We hope as you continue your journey through this special occasion that both trees will grow strong in a land filled with tradition, holiness, joy, and peace. Mazel tov, Nate.
Okay, that last please rise was wrong. Now please rise.
Nate, you are correct. If people want to be standing, this is a good time to stand because we are in the concluding prayers. The Leinu is the first of those on page 28, and your sister and your mother are going to participate further in this service by leading all of us in Aleinu L'Shabeach, which is all about repairing the world, which is all about making sure that we take the words and the teachings and everything that's been expressed today in this service and your leadership and use it to make the world a better place. And so here's your mom, Maddie, and your mom, Amy, to lead us in, your sister, Maddie, did I say that? And your mom, Amy, to lead us in Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet b'dula le'otzeh b'reshit, shelo asanu k'goyeh haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam helkenu pahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו Elohim meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emek Malkeinu Efezulato, Kakatu Betorato, Vedata Hayom, Vehashivota Elevalecha, Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim, Asher Hamayim Mima'al, Ve'al Haaretz, Ve'al haaretz mitachat enod v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated.
So Nate,
To remember some
oh no, please. I was just gonna say we take this moment to recognize the loss that we have. So I know you have some special people you are thinking of right now. So I want to invite you to share those names.
Yeah, no, sorry for interrupting you. I would like to remember some family members we lost this year. Cousin Peter Hallhager from Cleveland and great aunt Dottie Scar of Florida. We miss them both and wish they could join us today.
And so we're thinking of all sorts of names within our CRC community too. These people we have loved and have lost in the last year, and those who it is their yahrzeit, the annual anniversary of when we have lost them. So we take this moment just to share some of the names that we're thinking of right now. And if you're live streaming, we invite you to share the names of the people you're thinking of in the chat too. So this week we have yahrzeits for Rose Bell, for Anita Stone Resnikoff, for Joseph Vygotsky, Dolores Brown, Jan Feiner, Cuthbert T. Klein, Dr. Jerry Levy, David's dad, Elva Schneider, Fern Weissman, Doug's mom of a blessed memory, Israel Berkowitz, and David Paul Sternick, Mary Alice Wright, John Cavender, Bev Rishal, Louis Weintraub, for Larry Davis and Leon Gervich and Leslie Moore and M. Guiley Reifer. For all of these names, and for those we've lost in our community recently, for Jan Nelson and Marvin Koski and Fran Hyman of a blessed memory, and Ann Schifrin, Molly Frauenstein, Clarence Shelley, Libby Greenbaum, and Gil Nussbaum, who we all miss so much, for Lillian Eichen, and Lily Atkinson, and Shirley Sewell. For all of these names and more, we say the words of Kaddish, of the Mourners Kaddish. So let me see if I can put these words up on the screen for us. As we say these sacred and these ancient words of memory and of mourning together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'almad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chaye echon uvyom echon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael b'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. We say Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of all of those that we miss, all of those that we mourn for, be a blessing in our lives. So Nate, I'm going to invite your parents up again for a moment to give you some special gifts from our CRC community. So you get to go ahead and open these up, my friend. So I think what you're about to open there, if I can tell from looking at the wrapping, is a tzedakah box. Is a box that Jewish tradition teaches us that we put what we have into it. We put what we can into it. Judaism teaches that tzedakah is not an option. That tzedakah is not charity. It's not the giving from our heart. That tzedakah is actually our communal responsibility to take care of all of those around us. So we know that this is such an important value for you. We know that this is such an important value for your family. And we just know that this is going to be a source of blessing and use in your life. So we are so proud of you and hope that you will put this to good use. You also should probably have a couple certificates there because in your honor, there have been 2 trees that have been planted. Nate, you talked so beautifully earlier about peace, right? And the value of peace and the importance of peace. And we love that because you've become a bar mitzvah, that there has been a tree that has been planted in a Jewish section of Israel, and there is a tree that has been planted in a Arab section of the Palestinian territories. And so we just hope that with both of these new pieces of growth, that there will be more peace in our world because of you. So we are so proud of you. We are so proud to call you a bar mitzvah of our community. And just over and over and over again, Mazal Tov. So before we end, before we go on our ways, we give a blessing. We take a moment for blessing. So
Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel? Words from Nate's parents.
Yep,
Blessing.
thank you.
Blessing. You guys are on.
All right, well, great job, Bud. I'm very proud of you. And your storytelling made me want to share a story too. I want to remind you of a time when you were in kindergarten and we were sitting around the dinner table in the old house. And your mom and I said we were looking forward to going to see your kindergarten teacher later that week. It was going to be our first parent-teacher meeting with this kindergarten teacher. And when I said this, your face went white. You looked at me like, and I was a little taken aback. I said, is there something wrong? And there was a long pause. And then you said, there have been battles. And I said, battles? What kind of battles? And you explained that you had a classmate whose name I don't remember, and his name is not important for this. And you said, this boy had a tiny brain and a tiny heart.
I think I do remember his name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share it, but I know it.
I like that story. I don't think anyone's ever accused you of having a tiny brain or a tiny heart. And so I want you to use the big brain and pick battles carefully. But in your portion, Moses battles with God. Abraham battles with God. The most powerful thing they knew, they battled because they thought justice required it. So you be wise, and big heart, fight those battles. But wise not to fight every battle. And then, as you said in your Devar, we're not perfect, you're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna come across people who make mistakes, and you gotta be big-brained again. You gotta be big-brained enough to realize it's okay. And you gotta have a big heart again to keep trying, right?
Love you too.
Okay. Nate, you've told me that this is your favorite part of the service, listening to the parents say nice things about the kids. And partly probably like the stories, and partly probably also because you know it's almost at the end. Your name, Nathaniel, means gift of God, and you are definitely a gift. You are sweet, funny, sometimes a curmudgeon, determined, a chocolate lover, a self-described math nerd, a sneaker of snacks, but always determining your own path. For those of you who were with us for Maddie's bat mitzvah, you may remember that Nate decided to lay on the floor on the bima next to the CRC band for his own very special vantage point for her bat mitzvah. Luckily, CRC was happy to let you do your own thing then, as it is now. And we really appreciate that they are really encouraging of your growth. When COVID started to shut things down and causing us to question what your bar mitzvah would look like, you never wavered in your desire to proceed. We are proud of you for your preparation and perseverance today, and the way you were able to take your portion and find your very own interpretation. One more wish for you that I have, and this is similar to what I told your sister, is that I want you to remember all the people who are celebrating with you and supporting you today. I hope that this will help to keep you humble as you acknowledge that you worked very hard to get here, but it wasn't your own work that helped you get here. Lots of people put time, love, and energy into helping you along. I want this to be a source of strength for you. The knowledge that whatever the challenge, you won't have to do it alone. You've got lots of people to help share it. Friends, family, and community will be by your side. And so I'll just finish by saying I just started reading a book by Olivia Butler, and it begins by saying, all that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. And I think that's certainly true of being a parent. You change us and we grow together, and I look forward to continuing to do that. Love you lots.
Wow. Perfect, you guys. Perfect. Stay right there. You know, one thing we didn't talk about through all this was, do you have a challah at your house? You do. I know you do, actually, because it's from because Debbie Polinsky made it, right? Yeah. So bring over that challah, and Maddie, come join your family. The grandparents too. Come on.
Yeah.
The whole congregation that's at B'nai Brown Raven.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Perfect. Let's see you guys, and let's see that challah. Oh, there it is. So first the Kiddush Cup. Nate, you could pick up the Kiddush Cup filled with the sweetness that represents that you gave us such a sweet set of moments. You know, you really did. You made this Shabbat and this weekend so sweet. Been looking forward to this for a long time, and it was more than just sweet. It was interesting and captivating and compelling, like you. So hold that cup up, and if you have at home a Kiddush cup or some wine or some juice, we're gonna join in a l'chaim for Nate, who is bar mitzvah. So you guys ready all together? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. Take a sip. Nathan. Nathaniel. All right. Well, I bet the challah will have a different. So hold up that challah. Again, like Daniel said, CRC loves you guys so much. We're so glad that we're together in this sacred path. And so one of our members, Debbie Polinsky, who's also a Clayton resident, along with you guys, whose kids went to the Clayton schools, made this challah, and I've tasted Debbie Plinska challah. It's really delicious. So I hope that after the challah and after the service is over, you guys have a wonderful celebration lunch together. But first we have to make blessings of gratitude. And then after we do the final blessing, just know, we really want you to know how much CRC loves you. So if you hear honking horns, I encourage you to go outside. Not yet. And receive a socially distant oneg from your friends at CRC. But first, the blessing for sustenance. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. And have a bite, Nathaniel, Nate. Take a bite, so because you've been doing a lot of work up there, all but on your own 2 feet. Maybe share with Maddie if you want to bite a challah. Maddie, whoever wants a bite can take a bite. But what we're gonna do now is ask you guys to put your arms over each other and over Nate, and we're all gonna do the same thing at our homes. We've got, let's see. I think Daniel, you're there. Daniel's verse 1, and Rabbi Karen's verse 2, Rabbi Susan, maybe verse 3. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a yes. All right. Here we go. And the blessing.
Yivirechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. Nate, may you be blessed, may you be safe, may you be secure for all of your life, wherever this amazing journey brings you.
May you take some of the light you have felt on this Shabbat, and hopefully you are sending out to all of us, and may you send that light out into the world.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And may all that is good and high and holy, the imperfect and the perfect alike, all that is good and all that is not so good, because it is all connected, Nate, as you've taught us so beautifully. We have to find a way to embrace it all so that we can discern, so we can use both our mazel and our sechel, both that privilege that we've been granted, that you have so much of, but also that discernment that you have. You have that big brain, as your dad said, and also that big heart. And may that guide you to be a peacemaker in the world, so that we can all have a little more peace in our hearts, our homes, our community, and maybe sooner than we think, may there be peace and justice for all creation, as we say, amen.
Amen.
And mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Mazel tov, Nate. Mazel tov to the whole family. Mazel tov to the universe. You guys are awesome. Have a wonderful celebration. Great job. Yasher koach.
Todah.